Hey guys, Caller here, bringing you Game 2 of the March 2005 OSL Finals between Nada and JulyZerg. And in Game 1, Nada won, looked almost easily against JulyZerg, going for a sunken break with his Medic Marine and Firebat Force, and July just being unprepared for it, not using his Zerglings that he had, and not having enough Zerglings to help defend his sunken colonies. And really, it looked almost amateurish by July, so we'll see if he manages to shape up and fight Nada this time. Looking at the records here on the screen, Nada is 24-10 against Zerg. July, no slouch, he's 18-11 against Terran, but Nada over time has gotten better and better against Zerg, whereas July's ZVT record has sunk a little bit. Right now it's only at 51% for his lifetime record. In any case though, Nada is quite a force to be feared by Zerg. He's managed to defeat many good Zerg players, such as Yellow, Choja, over time in final series, and if I were playing Zerg against Nada, I'd be quite scared. Although Nada is such a nice guy overall. He's one of the best mannered professional players, and I think he's just really professional in his demeanor. Just a great player overall. In any case, this map here is called the Alchemist, like the Coldplay song The Scientist. It's a 3-player map. Looks like Nada is spawning in orange at the 11 o'clock position, and July, I think, is spawning in blue at the 3 o'clock position. You start off in the main base here with 2 choices for your natural expansion, one on each side of your base, on opposite sides, and both are fairly easy to protect. So I'll be expecting at least July to go for a fast expansion, and Nada possibly to go for a fast expansion also, because it is more of a resource-friendly, a macro-friendly game map than the last map was, certainly. So it looks like July is going to scout in the right direction with his Overlord. I feel that Nada last game just, I don't know what July was expecting, but Nada just managed to time his attack very well, going for a big rush with Medic Marines and just continuing to push in without any fear of the 2 Sunkens in the front, just calculating it very well how much damage you'd be able to do. And I feel that July was just perhaps unprepared for this kind of build, a fast 2 racks build, and he was trying to tech rather quickly off of just 2 hatcheries, and trying to get his lurkers up, but I feel that it was just sort of he didn't do enough damage with his initial Zerglings, he didn't do anything with his initial Zerglings, and he just really didn't build his 3rd hatchery. I felt like that 3rd hatchery was quite necessary last game in order to get enough drones and Zerglings to deal with a rush. I feel like he didn't necessarily need to go such fast tech, seeing that Nada was just going for academy level units and just going for basic units to start with. In any case, looks like July's going to be scouting with his drone here, perhaps looking for any kind of rush, or just trying to spot his base, actually, the enemy base. Looks like he will get there with the Overlord first, and July is going to be putting up his second base here at his natural expansion to the south of his base. So that's actually not on the route of attack for Nada. Nada can attack from the north or south, but the closest direction is through the northern side. And this is sort of a lucky position for July, because he won't be able to attack so easily at the natural expansion. And so July will be able to block Nada's attacks with his ramp, actually. So basically the natural will be behind the northern route, behind the main base. In any case, spawning cool going up for July there, and we'll see if he decides to put down his 3rd hatchery. I still think it's a wise idea for him to put down the 3rd hatchery immediately, rather than going for a fast tech building. It's Nada actually going for 2 racks again. Looks like he's going for probably another rush here, getting his 2nd racks up, not going for an expansion or anything like that. And looks like he is producing Marines here, so July is going to spot all of that. And I feel that against this build, the best way of getting an advantage is to put down your 3rd hatchery and build some early level units just to make sure you're safe. And it looks like July is going to put the hatchery at a really good position there at the top of the ramp, so that if Nada wants to attack from the north, he has to go through that ramp. And 1 sunken on that ramp will be quite effective against any Marines Nada can throw up. Of course, Nada can go through the southern route too, but it takes much longer. You have to go basically all the way around the map. July is going to spot this, and Nada is going to spot this build here. And we'll see what Nada decides to do. Nada could decide to go for an expansion of his own. It is infeasible for him to do so, especially if he goes on the southern route, which would also be more protected against a frontal rush, at least. It looks like July building about 4 Zerglings there, and he's just going to try to chase away this SCV. And he's actually moving some Zerglings to the south there, perhaps just trying to make sure nothing's being hidden south of his base, which would be a good tactic, possibly, for Nada. Nada, once again, getting a good number of Marines here, and Nada actually going for a refinery on July's Vespian Geyser, so going for a gas steal there, but I feel like that's kind of a waste because July can just put down his extractor at his natural expansion and just mine gas there instead. And looks like Nada's actually moving out here with his Marines. We'll see if he decides to go for an attack there on the ramp before the first Sunken goes up there. And it looks like he's about 7 Marines moving forward. And July is just getting ready to put a Sunken down right there at the second hatchery. And it looks like Nada is canceling the refinery there. So July should be safe here from this early attack. Looks like he's getting a Sunken up. That Sunken will be able to attack on the ramp. It looks like, yeah, Nada is pulling back his early group of 6 Marines there. I expect Nada to actually get an expansion now, or to go for some technology. But given that his refinery is only going up, I do expect him to be saving some minerals, and he should be able to get his a second command center soon. Judging by the way his build's going, he probably was trying to get more minerals, and hence is going to go for an expansion. And now July is going for his lair here. And July, I feel, has taken an early lead in this game because he has managed to get his 3 hatcheries down safely. And it looks like Nada is going to go for that expansion to the south of his base. And July actually anticipating this, perhaps, or just going for a scout. He has about a dozen lings, and he's going to be running towards the southern route. So he might get to the command center being built in the southern route without Nada being in position to deal with it. Nada's still worried about his front door here with his Marines. And it looks like, no, Nada does have a force in the south, too. Nada has produced a good number of Marines. I didn't notice how many he's produced. So he's got about a dozen Marines total, and looks like he is going to be able to hold both routes to his base, especially if he plants a bunker at the choke point on the southern route. And we'll see if Nada decides to do so. Nada is going to spot this incoming force of Zerglings, though, with his SCV, so he's going to be quite prepared, I think, just moving a couple of Marines in position at the choke point. And Nada now moving out in the north here, just trying to chase away those Zerglings, or perhaps just trying to pressure July into forcing some of those Zerglings back. And now July is going to go in for the attack here, about 8 Marines against maybe a dozen Zerglings, and July actually just retreating now, seeing those Marines there. And July getting a second gas up. I've yet to see what tech he's going to go for after getting his lair up. It looks like it's a Spire, though, so he's going to go for a Spire, which I think makes a little more sense on this map, because there are a lot of ups and downs on this map, and would be more difficult to get lurkers through. And looks like now Nada does have his first medics out, and he could be going for a push on the north, but I think it will be still really difficult for him to get up the ramp there. So Nada now getting his 3rd racks up. It looks like July actually has managed to sneak 3 Zerglings through, and they have speed upgrade. So looks like he's going to go for a little bit of harass on the main, and he might be able to take out a couple SCVs. Although the SCVs are attacking now, and he's not really microing those Zerglings, so they're going to die, I think, before taking out any SCVs, actually. So good micro by Nada there, preventing any SCVs from getting killed. And just preventing any damage from being taken. And now Nada should have his second base pretty much up and defended. July is going to get his second expansion now at the 6 o'clock position. This is sort of a standard Zerg build that you see nowadays. There's definitely in modern days this build is still being used by everyone, every Zerg player. So not too different, from what we see today. Unlike some builds that we've seen recently in my videos, at least. Which are just completely different from modern builds. Now, July, with not many Zerglings left, though, he's managed to lose all of them by going for these little attacks, these little harassment attacks in the north and south. And Nada has a pretty big force of medic Marines on the ground here. I feel that if Nada attacks from the southern route, actually, he could do a lot of damage. And now Nada's getting his missile turrets, anticipating the Mulisk. Perhaps he's gotten a scan off on the Spire being built. And Nada also getting his factory up, so perhaps teching to science vessels, thinking about teching up to science vessels. And now the first Mulisk about to pop for July. I think July might have enough for a full contingent of 9 Mulisks here, and that would be quite effective. And it looks like July is setting a couple of Zerglings, perhaps just a scout, but he's not going to be able to do much damage with them, of course. Nada producing out of 3 racks, and this Mulisk harass will prove critical, I think, to determining who takes the lead in this game, because right now they're quite close, and it'll be up to July to really harass very well. Now July going for the attack here, and he's actually going directly for the medic Marines here, just hovering above them. Actually, he's going to be able to take out the southern force here, so July actually putting Nada in a bit of trouble here, and Nada forced to run his Stim Marines south to deal with this, but he managed to take out an entire group of medic Marines there, so Nada really got his army cut in half here by a good attack from July. July just knowing exactly what he needed to do there, and knowing that he could take down the second force there, so July is buying himself a lot of room here to set up his expansion out the 6 o'clock position, and looks like he's going to be able to put up a sunken there and protect his the expansion that's closer towards his base. That is quite clever. And it looks like he's going to get his Hydralisk done up too, so he's going to go for sort of a Lurker build now after he's done a good harassment with his Mutalisks. Looks like Nada's going to move out though. Perhaps he spots the 6 o'clock base, and he's thinking of doing some pressure, putting some pressure on there. Looks like Nada's getting a starport also, so he's going to probably going for Science Vessels, although it's possible